My name is Linda. I am a software developer. I've been on call for applications that I have helped to write. I've been on call for applications I have mostly not helped to write. I'd like to talk about features, feature flags, also known as feature toggles, which are a way to avoid having long-lived feature branches for your features in production. What is a feature? Who here has developed a feature? Who here has deployed a feature? It's a thing that your application does that's as granular as I can get. But more importantly is how you avoid deploying the ones that you don't want to deploy. Who here has deployed a feature they didn't want to deploy? Anybody? Some features should not be in production yet because they are not done or for other reasons. Mostly, you put them behind a fancy if statement, or you could have a long-lived feature branch and make your developers sad and unable to do any refactoring. The taxonomy of how you toggle your features is very important. Either they're very temporary, they last until the feature is done, or they're very long-lasting, which is a lot more common and a lot more dangerous. When it can be changed, runtime or deploy time, or some other time halfway in between if you have rolling deploys. You need to keep them somewhere, either in a config file or a database or an external service. Again, this affects when you can deploy them. Don't put them in memory because they reset on deploy, and that is terrible for both your users and for you. Who decides when to toggle your toggles in production? Is it developers in a commit to the config file? Is it a product user who's like, oh, this restaurant is ready for restaurant feature 2.0, this is great? Or you could update them via SQL in your database. That's dangerous. So if you're doing user-specific feature toggles, so not all of our users have this feature, but this user has this feature and this one will have it later when we're sure that our trusted partner has found all of the bugs. Sorry, trusted partner. Then anyway, so you might have to support them for a very long time until your users who have not upgraded anything ever manage to upgrade their iOS clients. You may accidentally write a permissions system. Because a feature, it controls who can use a thing. That looks a lot like permissions. If you accidentally do that, you notice you are charging money per feature. You have features for certain users. I don't know what to tell you other than that you have conflated your concerns and you might need to refactor your features, which you should put under a feature toggle. Of course, once a feature is enabled, a user can configure it. If they configure it and then you turn it off because it went horribly wrong and then you turn it back on again because you fixed it, and their configuration means a different thing, then you have a lot of exciting bugs in production. There are a lot of frameworks that can do this. We accidentally wrote our own and then we changed it 3 times over the course of 6 months and it was great. The problem is if you use something that someone else has written, what if it encourages behaviors that you don't want to encourage? What if it does too much? What if it does not enough and you need to extend it? Maybe you should write your own. I used to work at a place that was really cool, and this is a user interface for our admin users for product, and they got a phone call from a restaurant and said, I'm ready for signature on screen. And then they turned it on, and we could see what percentage of restaurants were enabled. This was great for the business. This is terrifying for developers because you have to write everything in such a way that someone could turn it on and off again and back on unless you disable it from the UI. And you're on call, so good luck. Of course, they can only be enabled for certain versions. So if I have an iOS app and I haven't upgraded it, in 3 months, and so I can't have any of the new features because it won't support it, you should have written it backward compatible. Well, we didn't, I'm sorry. So obviously you need to store all of that data somewhere. So here we're getting complicated, we're persisting it. This is all on GitHub. What if you delete a restaurant and you don't delete its features? Do all of your UIs break? It turned out that the answer was yes, because it's looking for a transitive dependency that isn't there, so you can have bugs in your feature toggle system that you forgot to put under a feature toggle because you are upgrading them. Some features are not safe to undo, not safe to revert, usually for data migration issues. In this particular case, it was roles-based upgrading, the granularity of roles. You can't undo that. So things that we have learned, requirements evolve. Of course, requirements evolve. But what if your requirements of your feature toggle system have evolved such that you have accidentally designed a feature that cannot be toggled by your feature toggle system because it depends on an external never mind. Migrating between feature toggle systems is the best thing. Which feature toggle system do you put your toggle under? Especially if you are upgrading or merging, in our case, 3 different feature toggle systems into one because they evolved organically. How do you deploy it? Very carefully. How do you be absolutely certain that the states of all of the features are the same before and after? If they are turning them on and off while you are deploying, we use CSV files and a whole bunch of product experts. Thank you very much, Rosie. I'm really sorry. There's so much more to say. Thank you.